Hi, and welcome to Narcify. Today, we're answering the big question. Why do we keep repeating the mistakes from our past? In this video, we're doing a deep dive into the toxic roles of our childhood. I'll give you a complete guide on how to finally break that cycle. Let's get started.
In this series, we've explored the roles that were assigned in a narcissistic family. Maybe you saw yourself in the golden child, the perfect one, on the surface, or in the scapegoat, the one to blame for everything. Or perhaps in the invisible child, the one who learned not to exist. But the most important question is, what happens next? How has that role followed you into your adult life? That role didn't stay in your childhood. It became an unconscious script, a survival map that you keep using even though the territory has changed. Today, we're going to deconstruct that map. We're going to see, with clear and painful examples, how each role manifests in adult life. If you were the golden child, you probably became an incredibly competent adult, but terrified of failure. Meet Anna, a successful doctor. She saves lives, but lives in constant panic of making the slightest mistake. Every success only raises the bar, it doesn't bring her peace. In her relationships, she's an expert people pleaser. She doesn't know how to say no because in her script, love equals performance. Her biggest fear isn't failing, it's disappointing. Now think of real people who have talked about this, like artists or athletes who, after reaching the top, admit to feeling like a fraud imposter syndrome. Their healing began when they allowed themselves to be good enough instead of perfect, starting projects out of passion and not for the need for approval. If you were the scapegoat, it's likely that self-criticism is your constant background noise. David is creative and empathetic, but he jumps from one toxic relationship to another. Why? Because his script says that conflict is his fault. He attracts partners who, like his parents, need a villain. When problems arise, he takes responsibility, apologizes for things he didn't do, and strives to fix the other person, reliving the only role he knows. The healing for the adult scapegoat often looks like setting firm boundaries. It's the person who, after years of accepting blame, finally says calmly, "I'm not going to take responsibility for your feelings." It is the friend who leaves a group where they are always the butt of the jokes. Their victory is reclaiming their own narrative. And if you were the invisible child, your biggest struggle as an adult is believing you deserve to take up space. Laura is the perfect employee that no one notices. She has brilliant ideas, but never speaks up in meetings. In her personal life, she longs for a deep connection, but chooses emotionally unavailable partners because the familiarity of abandonment feels safer than the vulnerability of being seen. Her script says, "If they don't see me, they can't hurt me." Healing here is an act of self-reclamation. It's the person who signs up for an art class just for themselves. It's the one who, for the first time, books a solo vacation. It's the one who, in a conversation, instead of disappearing, dares to say, "I would like." Every act of self-prioritization is a rebellion against invisibility. Imagine 3 adult siblings, Anna, David, and Laura, who haven't spoken in years. Anna, golden child, organizes a perfect family dinner, hoping for her parents' approval. David, scapegoat, arrives late, expecting to be blamed. Laura, invisible child, arrives, expecting not to be noticed. But this time, something changes. When the father criticizes David, Anna, instead of seeking peace, says, "Dad, that's not fair." David, instead of accepting the blame, remains silent. And Laura, seeing the scene, says, "I agree with Anna." For the first time, they're not competing. They're connected. The system short circuits. That night didn't heal everything, but it broke the spell. It showed that another script was possible. Breaking the cycle takes practice. Here's a field manual. Situation. A family member compares you to a sibling. Programmed response. Feeling hurt, competing, defending yourself. New reaction, choose one. 1. The gray wall. Respond without emotion. "I understand your opinion," and change the subject. You don't give energy to the drama. 2. Self-affirmation. "I'm proud of my own path and my achievements." You don't need their validation. Things to avoid. Avoid the drama triangle. Do and go complaining to your golden child sibling about your parents. That's what the system wants. Talk to a therapist, a trusted friend, or a journal. Avoid recreating the dynamic. If you were the scapegoat, be careful not to become the savior of everyone in your adult life. It's not your job to fix others. Your role was a job you were forced to take to survive. But it's not who you are. Your true self, with your own desires, flaws, and virtues, has been waiting patiently under that disguise. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally allowing yourself to be who you've always been.
Thank you for being here. If this spoke to you, like, subscribe, and share. Your healing matters.